In this exchange, Representative Pramila Jayapal delivers a forceful rebuke of the Department of Homeland Security following the killing of a U.S. citizen by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Citing video evidence, eyewitness accounts, and official contradictions, Jayapal challenges claims made by DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and President Donald Trump, raising urgent questions about accountability, transparency, and the expanding use of force by immigration authorities inside the United States.
Mr. Chairman, what happened yesterday in Minneapolis should terrify every single one of us. An ICE agent fired 3 shots, killing a 37-year-old unarmed U.S. citizen, Renee Nicole Good, as she was driving away from ICE agents on a residential street in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Her death leaves a 6-year-old boy without any parents. And we on this committee should be immediately investigating this. We should bring Kristi Noem to us. We should have that conversation. But instead of conducting an investigation and doing the work to hold this rogue ICE agent accountable for killing a U.S. citizen, Kristi Noem has gone on a full-fledged lying spree, spreading lies that any person who watches this video can see are lies. She even had to get the President of the United States to go on social media and continue the lies. The problem, Mr. Chairman, is that there are videos. There are videos that everyone can watch that completely destroy these lies that Noem and Trump are spreading. So let's play one of those videos right now.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
3 videos taken at the scene show a maroon SUV perpendicular on a snowy street. As you can see, a silver SUV driving up the street stops. 2 masked officers wearing badges that say police and body armor get out of the vehicle and walk toward the maroon car. After getting contradictory commands from the agents, where one tells her to get out of the car and the other attempts to open her door, the driver of the maroon car backs up the vehicle and straightens the wheel as if to make a 3-point turn. Then she starts to slowly accelerate along the street. A 3rd officer, who has been standing on the side of the road, pulls out a gun as the car is turning away. He shoots 3 times. The maroon car does not hit anyone as it rolls up the street. It hits another vehicle and then a utility pole, and the shooter walks away briskly, apparently uninjured, despite the lies that President Trump and Kristi Noem have put forward. Seen in slow motion, which we have been watching, the American people have been watching on television all last night, a video showed the wheels of the maroon vehicle were fully turned away from the shooting officer, who made absolutely no effort to jump away, clearly suggesting that he did not feel as if he were in danger. His first shot went through the windshield, through the front of the windshield. The next 2 went through the driver's side window as the car moved past him. Video taken by another eyewitness shows ICE agents refusing to allow a self-identified physician to tend to the victim and telling him to back up. And when an ambulance did arrive, ICE agents did not allow the vehicle through, forcing emergency medical responders to walk away through the snow with their equipment. DHS and the White House immediately put out statements that were completely false. The president claimed the officer was recovering from his injuries in the hospital, despite him having no injuries, and we saw him walking back and forth in front of the car. Secretary Noem outrageously claimed, without any evidence whatsoever, that it was, quote, an act of domestic terrorism. DHS and ICE immediately claimed the woman who was shot and killed by an ICE agent, quote, weaponized her vehicle and attempted to run over law enforcement when the video clearly shows she is trying to drive away. And according to reporting, ICE officers are trained to never approach a vehicle from the front, as this officer did. Instead, they are taught to approach in a, quote, tactical L, 90-degree angle to prevent injury or crossfire. Mr. Chairman, we need an independent investigation into what happened in Minneapolis. This is not the first time this has happened. In only the last 4 months, immigration agents have fired on at least 9 people. And ICE also shot and killed Silverio Villegas Gonzalez in Chicago and suddenly claimed he was violent. Congress needs to step up. This committee needs to step up. And I ask you, Mr. Chairman, to please make sure that we bring Secretary Noem before us. Where is Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons? Where is Attorney General Bondi? This committee is conducting no oversight and is derelict in its duty to the American people.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
Thank you, and I ask for unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman,
You see request?
to put into the record an article titled, ICE officers trained never to approach a vehicle from the front, DHS official says.
Objection.
From the New York Times, deadly Minneapolis encounter is the 9th ICE shooting since September.
Objection.
I yield back.
What this opening statement ultimately reveals is not a disagreement over policy, but a crisis of accountability at the highest levels of federal power. At the center of this moment is the killing of an American citizen, Miss Good, during an ICE operation in Minnesota, an event that occurred without an arrest warrant being executed, without judicial oversight, and without any opportunity for bail or due process. That fact alone should have triggered immediate transparency from the Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Kristi Noem, and the administration overseeing immigration and customs enforcement. Instead, the response from the White House and DHS leadership has been denial, minimization, and an effort to discredit video evidence that the public can plainly see. This is not an isolated breakdown. Under President Donald Trump's administration, ICE has increasingly operated with expanded authority and reduced oversight, even as reports from civil rights organizations and congressional committees document a rise in excessive force incidents and constitutional violations. According to the Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, TRAC, ICE detention of U.S. citizens, while rare in absolute terms, has occurred repeatedly, despite being unlawful and often without immediate corrective action. When enforcement agencies respond to such failures by disputing reality rather than confronting misconduct, they undermine the legitimacy of federal law enforcement itself. The statement also directly challenges the misuse of public fear to justify flawed legislation. Claims that bail reform fuels violent crime are not supported by national data. FBI uniform crime. Reporting and Bureau of Justice Statistics figures show that violent crime, including homicide, declined nationally over the past year, continuing a downward trend from post-pandemic highs. Property crime has also decreased. Yet these facts are routinely ignored in favor of anecdotal cases designed to inflame public anxiety rather than inform policy. What makes this moment especially stark is the double standard applied to justice. Members of Congress are warned about the supposed dangers of bail, even as President Trump pardoned individuals convicted of violent offenses related to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, an attack that injured more than 140 law enforcement officers and sought to overturn a democratic election. Several of those pardoned individuals have since reoffended. This contrast exposes a system in which punishment and mercy are determined not by conduct, but by political loyalty. Equally concerning is the administration's failure to invest in proven public safety solutions. Programs focused on community violence intervention, substance abuse treatment, and targeted prevention have consistently shown reductions in violent crime, according to Department of Justice evaluations. Yet funding for these initiatives has stagnated or been deprioritized, while enforcement-heavy approaches expand without corresponding safeguards. This is why H.R. 6260 is not merely insufficient, it is misdirected. It does nothing to address ICE accountability, nothing to ensure constitutional protections for citizens, and nothing to rebuild public trust in federal institutions. The real question before Congress is whether agencies like ICE and DHS will be subject to the same rule of law they are tasked with enforcing. Until President Trump, Secretary Noem, and senior DOJ officials acknowledge what occurred, commit to independent investigation, and restore transparency, no legislative maneuvering can substitute for justice. Public safety cannot be achieved through propaganda, and democracy cannot endure when government power operates without consequence.